Hello, my friends. Are you ready for more tangling this week? I'm having a great time. I'm so happy you're here. I hope you're enjoying gentle tangling, a good mindfulness breath, some gratitude, some art, some creativity, everything all wrapped up into one little square tile. Or whatever shape you're doing. Could be anything. And that's a good segue that I've said this in the first video, but if you're watching things out of order or this is the first time you're here this week, I encourage you to use whatever supplies you want, whatever supplies that when you pick them up, you feel happy. That translates into your art. That energy goes into your art. So it could be square, it could be oval, it could be a journal, it could be Fabriano paper, it could be Strathmore paper. Whatever it is, grab what you like and truly make this your own. Okay, and the same goes for pens also. I'm using Micron pens. I do like them, but I also like other pens. So grab whatever you would like. But let's go ahead and begin with a moment of gratitude and a breath. Slow inhales, slow exhales. Thankfulness, gratitude, appreciation, however you want to think about it. Reconnect your mind and your body. Connect to your environment. Get all of those senses working in harmony. The affirmation today is, I am beautiful. Good deep breath, moment of gratitude. Come back when you're ready. There's the affirmation card for today. All right. So we're going to practice this tangle. Let me grab my pen and brighten this up a little bit. And the tangle we're doing today is called Dixo. And you might look at that and say, oh, it's a typo and it should be disco. No, this is the correct spelling, D-I-C-S-O. And it is by Mina Sao. Again, I apologize if I have butchered that name. I don't think I've ever heard it said out loud, so I don't really know how to pronounce it. So this is a tangle that honors the 5 elemental strokes that we have when we tangle. A dot, a line, a C curve, an S curve, and an orb. Do you get it? A dot, an I or a line, a C curve, an S curve, and an orb. Okay, that's how you can remember the name. But here's what's pretty cool with what Mina did with this. You could do this in one pen stroke. So I'm going to invite you to watch it and just get a feel for it. I'll demo it twice. This is how you do it in a one pen stroke style. A dot, a line, a C curve, an S curve, and an orb. And I exaggerated my S curve there. Okay, I'll do that again. A dot, a line, a C curve, an S curve, and an orb. So that is the basis of Dixo. Okay, if you want to do it separately, you can do the dot, the line, the C curve, the S curve, and an orb. And then from there you can add all kinds of flair to it, which is what we're going to do. We're going to add all kinds of flair to this. A lot of times you will see the center embellished. You will see auras this way that travel down that orb. Okay. lots of different ways to play with this, which is what we're going to do. But very, very, very fun tangle, and I love that you could do one pen stroke in it, which is a great mindfulness thing. Okay, so I'm working with another square tile. This happens to be Zentangle branded, but doesn't have to be. And what we're going to do is in the middle, so I'm looking at each one of these sides. I'm going right to pen, and I am going to switch to my 05 because I do like tangling with that. I'm looking at this side, and I'm going to put an orb right about there. So roughly in the middle of this space. I'm going to turn my tile, and I'm going to do that roughly in the middle here, about the same size orb. So I'm choosing not to tangle this as one pen stroke. So this orb is the bottom of the Dixo petal, leaf, whatever you want to call it. Okay, and then from there, I'm going to do the line with the dot. And so I'm making these fairly large. I'm going to have four petal shapes pretty large. I'm going to do the C curve and the S curve. And there's our basic, very, very basic petal shape for Dixo. So now let's start playing around with this. The first thing I'm going to do is aura. I'm going to aura once. Let me show you both steps. I'm backing off on my first plan. Let me show you both steps first. What I'm aiming towards is to aura and then color in with a highlight, and then aura. So you end up with something like that. And the reason that I wanted to show you why I second guessed the way I was going to teach it originally is look on this side. I made this C curve fairly wide over here. So I'm going to choose to aura the inside to narrow up a little bit. That's what I'm going to color in. And then I'm going to aura the outside to get that type of shape. So essentially, you want to get a panel that's colored in and an outside aura, but you can do that by building out, or you could do it by building in based on your shape. So I'm going to come over here. This one looks okay, so I'll come up here. So you do whatever your tile and your tangling is itching to handle. So you end up with something like that. And I like explaining some of the thinking process as I'm teaching, because when you're tangling, these are the decisions you're going to be thinking about. Okay. I know you see the finished tiles when teachers teach a class. You don't actually see or hear a lot about the thinking process that went into it. Sometimes we take a wrong turn and have to get righted also. So that's why I tell you about some of these things ahead of time. So I hope it's helpful. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I'm going to add something a little bit different. I want to aura, but I don't want to go all the way to the top on this one. And it's going to go something like this. I'm going to aura up, and I'm going to follow that shape, but I'm going to stop and come right back down. So it's kind of this extra petal, and that's going to be colored in with the highlight. And then I'm going to do one more that's short. We're going to do the same thing over here. So I'm thinking about this like a outer petals of a flower where they wrap around, but they don't always go to the top. Okay, so there we have that. Okay, pretty cool, right? Pretty cool so far. We're going to add a little bit more detail to the center, which is going to be a little flick of a line and a dot. So I'll do that again. I'm just coming from the center, doing a flick and a little dot, not as formal as the main dot. You can do that if you want, of course. Anything that I'm saying, if you feel called to do something different, please make it your own. I am not offended if you do that. Okay. And then I think our orbs look a little plain, so I'm just going to come in here and color in, not color in, but just do an aura inside the orb. so really, really cool right now, but we want to connect these a little bit. So before I connect them, at the bottom of each of those orbs, I want to put just a little flux shape. Just felt like it needed just a little bit. Teardrop. This is a teardrop shape. I said flux, but if you don't know what flux is, it's just a teardrop shape. Okay. So we need to connect these, and I want to do just a little bit of a frame. So what I'm going to do is a fescue. We've talked about fescue before. Fescue is a headquarters tangle. And it's a flowy stem with a teardrop shape that's colored in, and that stem can go in any type of direction. Here's what I want to do. I'm going to, I'll do it in pen. If you want to pencil it the first time, you can absolutely do that. What I'm trying to do is come from this point right here. So when I do this, I look for a point on my tangle that naturally flows out of. This is perfect. I want to come in with a fescue that curls towards the center. So it goes like this and curls towards the center. And then what I want to do on this side is a fescue that comes in and kisses that. So I'm looking to have these touch roughly along the diagonal coming out around the corner, out of the corner. That is roughly. It's not exact. Feel free to do this in pen. You don't have to pencil it. I know I said that. If you want to pencil it in the first one, fine, but trust your pen. It may not be exactly in the diagonal. That's okay. Ooh, that one came up short. I didn't even get close to that corner. Okay, so that's what I have. They're all different. Every single fescue is a little bit different. This one is easy for my hand. This one's a little bit more awkward for my hand. It's all good. Okay, and look how that now connects all of our 4 petal shapes, little flowers. And that's what the fescue can do, is it helps connect elements for me. So I need to thicken these fescue up a little bit. I'm going to put an aura and get that colored in with the highlight, and that just gives that little border frame a little bit more weight. So something like that. Okay, and from here I'm going to add orbs. You've seen by now that I like to put an orb in. It's just a nice gentle go-to for me. So in these corners I just felt like it needed something else at those connection points. And then I'm just looking, I think the last thing I'm going to do is just a couple dots. And I did realize that these outer petals that we added with the pointed aura, I actually put a dot at the top of that little point. Just a little extra detail. And I feel like I'm rushing you. I kind of can sense even in the recording that this feels rushed. I'm kind of just in the flow, teaching the whole tile. So please, please, please pause the video. I really want this to be gentle and relaxing for you and not feel rushed. I'm truly just enjoying the tangling and teaching the tile. So I apologize if you're feeling a little rushed. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do some dots on the outside, and from these little side flux shapes. So I'm just coloring in a dot and then I taper them off. You can go as far as you want. I'm really enjoying the tangling right now. So just a little bit of an accent. This is going to transform once we get shading on it. Right now it still looks a little bit plain. And the last thing I'm going to do is at the top where the points are for the shape, I'm going to put a little dot there. You can even curve these around. Make the tops curve is what I mean. All right, I'm going to grab my graphite. Shading on this is going to be very simple. I'm going to put shading at the bottom of our petal flower. And then I'm just going to blend that up. And you can go to the space in between all of the petals if you want. You don't have to, but you can. So we did that on our flowers, and then we're going to take our pencil and we're going to add shading on the inside of the flux. I'm sorry, of the fescue. The inside of the fescue border. And this shading for the border, I can pull out quite a bit far because it's filling in, it's kind of framing our center shapes. And then it brought everything to life because it just gives that center a little bit of glow. It's a pretty and interesting frame. And then the last thing I'm going to do on this is, if you're going in order, you saw me do this in the previous tile. If this is your first time here, it's a quick Mary Rose gem. I call it a Mary Rose gem. It's just the way I do them. Because I like them and I like orbs. So essentially in the orb with my graphite, I'm just going to do C shapes with firm pressure and then light pressure. You blend the bottom just a little bit, but leave that little highlight and then a little gel pen dot. Doesn't look very good up close, but when you pull off, it's a cute little gem. We've got a couple of those. And there you go. I'm gonna fan this just a little bit so that the gel pen, remember that gel pen takes a little bit longer to dry. We'll get on the back. So this is Dixo. Take a good deep breath. You could roll your shoulders a little bit if that feels good. Whatever feels good to you, to have your moment of gratitude, honor your tangling, honor your mindfulness. Just like you have a ritual to start, we have a beautiful transition ritual after we're done. I hope this one inspired all kinds of ideas for you and that you're ready to play even more. For now, that's it, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a good night.